This video is about writing circles, writing the equations of circles when they're given to us on the coordinate plane, or we're given information about the circle, specifically knowing its center and its radius. All right. So in order to write the equation of a circle, we need to know and commit this to memory, the formula for the equation of a circle. Now the H and the K represent the center of the circle, and the radius r is the r part of the circle. All right. This should be a fairly simple lesson for everybody. I hope you all feel that way. Okay. So for this first one, we need to write the standard equation of a circle. I recognize that the center is at 2, -8 with a radius of 9. All right. So I'm going to write this out in long form and then clean it up. So I have x minus 2 squared plus y minus -8 squared equals 9 squared. That's literally plugging it into the formula. So if I clean this up, this is an acceptable form known as standard. I have x minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 8 quantity squared minus a negative is the same as plus, and that equals 81. This is specifically what they are looking for. All right, so let's try it for a couple more of these. All right, when I plug it in, I'm going to have x minus -6 quantity squared plus y minus k, or 3 in this case, quantity squared equals r squared. Now, one of the things to watch out for is sometimes they'll sneak this in. I just double checked myself. Sometimes they'll sleep in a diameter. Remember, we need the radius squared. So if they give you a diameter, cut it in half and then square it. All right. But if I clean this up, I have x plus 6 quantity squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared is equal to 64. All right. Let's throw a couple more at us to make sure that we were good here. All right, let's say that we have, let's try to do this one right away, or almost right away. I noticed the radius is a little unique. Let's see, we have x minus -9, so I'm going to write x plus 9 squared, plus y minus -4, so I'm going to write that as y plus 4 squared, and then I'm going to take r and square it. Now remember, if you take the square root of 5 and square it, square root of 5 times square root of 5 is just 5. So there's our final equation. And then finally, what if I give you the center is at 0, 0, and the radius is 4? Well, that means I'm subtracting 0. So I could just write this in short form as x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Don't forget that would be 4 squared or 16. All right. Now let's look at it from the other perspective. They give us the equation. They want us to find the center, which we're going to identify as C, and the radius, which we're going to identify as R. Now, where does a plus 7 come from? That comes from, remember the formula. It comes from subtracting -7. So I know the center is at -7, positive 5. And the radius would be found by taking the square root of 16, 4. Done. If you truly understand the formula, it should be this easy. So let's take a look right here. All right. I know I need to identify the center, which would be at minus -4. So that would be an x coordinate of -4. Minus 1. So that's a y coordinate of 1. And the radius would be the square root of 25, which is 5. Third example here, I know that the center, hopefully you recognize it's at 0, 0, and the radius would be 6. So what if they take it and kind of do something a little bit different here? And they say, write the standard equation of a circle with the given center that passes through a given point. So that point that they're talking about is actually on the circle. Here's what I know. From the center to any point on the circle, that's known as our radius. Okay? So I need two pieces of information in order to write the equation. I need the center. I've got it. But I also need the radius. Now, how would I find the radius? How would I find the length between two given points? Well, that's going to be our distance formula coming back again. So remember, here's the way I like to do it. I'm going to talk you through it. It'll make it fast and easy. All right? How far is it from 1 to 0? 1 squared is 1. How far is it from 2 to 6? 4 squared is 16. So I know that our radius here is the square root of 17. That tells me that this equation would be x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals r squared, which in this case would be 17. If I were to sketch this circle, which we're not learning how to graph them in this lesson, but if I were to sketch this circle right here, I guarantee that it goes through the point 0, 6 and has a center at 1, 2. All right, so we look at this next one. I need to write the equation of a circle. I need a center and a radius. I don't know the radius. But I do know that the distance from the center to a point can be found by using the distance formula. From negative 10 to negative 5, that's 5 units squared is 25. Plus, from negative 5 to 5, that's 10 units squared, or 100. So the radius would be the square root of 125. And I'm going to leave it like that because I know my next step is to square that into the equation. That's going to make the radical disappear. All right? So here we go. I've got x plus 10 squared plus y plus 5 squared. Remember, both that 10 and that 5 were really minus negatives. And then r squared, 125. And then finally here, I know the center. I got to figure out the radius. So I know that the radius is going to be the square root of, from negative 1 to negative 4, that's 3 units squared is 9. Plus, from negative 4 to 0, I know that that's 4 squared, or 16. So this radius is the square root of 25. And again, even though I know the square root of 25 is 5, I don't really care because when I plug it into the equation of a circle, I got to square it. All right. So the equation here would be x plus 1 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 25. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure that you guys have taken real good notes for all these lessons. Good luck to you, and let me know if I can help.